Today we're rating custom Magic the Gathering cards. We're going to start off with global warming. This is a red 2 generic sorcery. Destroy each snowland. Oh, this is so... Okay, so we need a way to get commander players to support the environment. How do we do that? Hear me out. That's right. Global warming. All the snow permanents. Shouldn't they just be like, doesn't it just, instead of destroying each snowland, doesn't it just become like if a snowland were an island, just becomes an island or something? You know, the snow melts. Something to that effect, maybe. Anyway, I don't know. I guess it's more impactful when you just blow the damn thing up. It's all gone. It's a 3-man Armageddon for the snow players. Whoever's playing that Ice Fan Quaddle out there. Let's go to another one. The Leyline Home. This is the ley line to beat all other ley lines. We got a white, green, 1 generic enchantment. If Leyline Home is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. When Leyline Home enters, each player gains control of all permanents they own. Ooh. And then also control of spells and permanents can't change. Sounds like someone got their stuff swiped one too many times. And players can't play cards they don't own. You know what? I want to say, like, something like this should exist. It feels like that is an angle of Magic that hasn't been hated on. And therefore, you know, you're bringing yourself home. Everything's coming home. You take my thing, I'm taking it back. Or can you still clone stuff? I guess so. I guess that's still okay. All snowlands become islands would be flavor. Oh, everything becomes an island. I guess that would also be a flavorful thing to do. Okay, we got some super chats. We got Dimitri coming out with first 2 cards: self-hate and support. Hate myself from the toys and just good old support card. All right, let's look up self-hate and support. This is a, oh god, I'm gonna hate reading this, aren't I? Okay, we got Phyrexian blue, then a weird hybrid of blue or 2 generic, blue, Phyrexian white, another weird hybrid, weird hybrid, white, 6 generic. Why do they have to get mixed and mashed so much? I mean, shouldn't the double white be beside each other? For a Phyrexian god, and it is a 14/26 creature. Okay, now Flying Menace, Lifelink, Death Touch, and as this creature enters, create an emblem that says all permanents remove all instances of tapped, tapping, and untapped. Oh my, we're really breaking the rules of Magic here. And when this creature dies, return all cards to your hand from the graveyard and create an emblem that says all permanents and spells are immune to sacrificing but still count as valid targets for the sacrifice requirement. You know what, Dimitri? This was almost a card. Almost. The only problem is at the end here, you cannot sacrifice a spell because spells in Magic the Gathering, a spell is just a card that's on the stack. It's not a permanent in play. So this is not something you can sacrifice. Once you've cast it, it's a spell. Once it's in play, it's just a card. Doesn't exist. It should not come into existence. That's when your AI, you're bringing AI onto a custom Magic the Gathering show. Like the whole point is your creativity. You're supposed to unlock your creativity. Okay, we got Nail. How much mana is this? This is 15, 25 mana for a legendary artifact. It is the Nail. Commutative upkeep, pay for a life or exile 3 non-land permanents. Affinity for lands. Interesting. Okay, I like this affinity for land idea. Ascend, convoke, indestructible, ward 20. No one can pay this. No one's paying that. Discard 5 cards. Cascade, Storm Delve, improvise, split second. I'm just gonna bring it out again. The spell cannot be countered. The Mana-Born rule is reinstated for your opponents. Storm copies of spells are considered cast, and each copy is then triggers Cascade and Storm if they are on set. This is just absolutely insane. To be honest, it's like it's possible to cast this. You just get what's it called, Omniscience out, and then you start casting this weird nonsense. Back to the freebie section where it makes some sense. We got Conjure. This is a white, red, blue instant. Search your library for a non-creature, non-land card in exile, then shuffle. Copy the exiled card. You may cast the copy. So we're looking for we're looking for a spell, and then we're gonna copy the spell and then put it on the stack. Search your library for a non-creature, non-land card. Isn't this broken? This is like literally 3 mana. Play anything. Like, how do we break this card? How does Conjure win? Search your library for a non-creature, non-land card, exile it, shuffle, copy the exiled card. You may cast the copy. I'm trying to think. Don't you just play? Isn't there not like a card that just says you win the game? Maybe not. I don't know how you break this card exactly. There's gotta be some real easy way to do it. No, you don't have to pay anything. Or it says copy the exiled card. You may cast the copy. Copies of the permanent. Is this like a wish? Search life for a non-card card. Copy the card. You may cast the copy. I think we're copying it. I don't know. I'm taking it as this card is copying the card that we look for. You have to pay for the copy. All right, then it's worthless. Yeah, I was thinking of getting an ultimatum and playing it for free. Maybe we can't put. Maybe free is not so free anymore. Okay, we've got another super chat from Will Anderson. Teachers Promontory. By the way, you want to be part of the action, submit your cards. I have a explanation how to do that in the description below. Promontory. All right, we got Teacher Promontory. It is a mountain, so we can search it up pretty easily. Teacher's Promontory enters the battlefield tapped and pay X tap. Look at the top X cards of your library. You may reveal an instant or sorcery card from among them. Put it on top of your library. If you do, target monk or shaman gains prowess and flying until end of turn. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This is awkward. Like, it's tough. Maybe it's okay because it enters the battlefield tapped. But like the ability is really, really strong. You can just literally tap it, pay X as 0, and then a monk or shaman gains prowess. What's also funny is like what monk out there doesn't have prowess? So it's like maybe a little bit more. Maybe it's just a flavor win for the monks that have not reached enlightenment in one way or another. Those Toads had to leave early. Goodbye. See you later, Toads. I play Arena, so I'm just confused about the card. It's a land. You can fetch this land out. This is what this land does. And you can manipulate the top of your deck. Here's the thing. I thought, oh, well, every burn player will play this. Probably they won't. Probably this would be played in control decks. Control decks would love this thing. Maybe it's just a strictly... No, maybe this is just a strictly better... Castle Vantress. You reveal an instant or sorcery card, put it on top, and then stack everything to the bottom. It's basically Castle Vantress, right? Except that it costs way less. Maybe this is broken. It is very, very, very likely to be a... I think this is very likely to be like a control staple that we're completely breaking everything. Okay, back to the freebie section. We got Eldrazi Induction. Ooh, we got a little top hat over here. Triple X. Enchant creature. Enchant creature gains Annihilator X. You are going to learn the way of annihilation. And you're going to annihilate everybody else. So, 3 mana. This is insanely strong. Like, basically, 3 mana, make your opponent sack a permanent. But it's still an aura. And auras, they're just not... Maybe it's balanced at the way that they created the casting cost. Although if your opponent has almost nothing in play, like it's turn 3 for you, turn 2 for them, and they have like 1 land, like 2 lands out, and I don't know, a mana rock, you just attack them and they lose a land immediately. Wait, which X? The way if there's more than 1 X in the casting cost, you have to pay X at least once each time to get like 1 X. So we need to pay X 3 times. So we pay like 3 colorless and we get X of 1. You pay 6 colorless, you get X of 6. Or you pay 9 green, and you get X of 3, essentially. You can't have an X casting cost as an ongoing effect without counters or a way to track the X. You can't? Well, come on. This is the custom Magic the Gathering card world. We can do whatever we want here. It's not hard. We'll remember. We'll remember. Look, there's a lot of things in Magic these days that don't keep track of anything. Like, there's no counter or anything like that. I play with Tide Shaper, and once I point to a land to call it an island and doesn't put, like, a flood counter on it or anything like that. Alright, next up, we're going to look at the Doomslayer. This is a red 2 generic, 2/4 human with double strike and haste and trample. The Doomslayer gets +1/+0 for each angel, demon, god, and Phyrexian you don't control. So, oh, I see. So if the opponent has, like, gods, demons, angels, Phyrexians, and so on, we get buffed up. It's a whole new Doomslayer out there. Chetty VT says, it works like Chalice of the Void, right? Yeah, for the last card, absolutely. Yeah, the Eldrazi Induction. Except it's 3, a triple. It's a triple. Okay, what do I have to say about this card? For 4 mana, double strike. So it's already actually pretty strong, because it's basically a 4-power creature with double strike. They are rage, brutal, without mercy, but you will be worse. Okay, it's a pass. Just get stronger so long as people have a bunch of gods and stuff. For each angel, demon, god, you pair this up with... Isn't there a... No, I think it only affects your creatures. I think there are some permanents out there that you name a creature type and all creatures in play are that permanent. Chalice has counters, though. What? Okay, whatever. Give it a counter. Just rename it a little bit. Like, when it comes in with it, and Eldrazi Induction comes in play, put X Annihilator counters on target creature. Target creature gains Annihilator X equal the number of the Annihilator X counters. Problem solved. We got the problem solved. All right, we got Hemlex Axe. This is a red, blue, white legendary artifact. It's indestructible. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. Whenever a player casts a spell, they copy that spell twice. Oh my goodness. They may choose new targets for the copy. So we can't play more than 1 spell, but each spell that we play, we see double. That is wild. It reminds me of... Actually, it reminds me of absolutely nothing. So, you know what? This is a way... When you're flooding out, you get double the spells whenever you top deck anything. But it applies to everybody. You see triple, original +2 copies. Oh, wait a minute. Whenever a player casts a spell, they copy the spell. Oh, you're right, actually. You're right. Reading the card explains the card, Pedge Man. And you read faster than me. And more accurately. Okay, it's weird, but it's very weird, but cool. The spell is copied twice, which means we get the original copy plus this one. And we can't cast more than 1 copy, but don't worry, for anyone that doesn't know, copies aren't considered cast. Hold on, don't we have an answer to this card? We have an answer to this card, don't we? Hold on, where's Pedgeman's, not Pedgeman, Dimitri's weirdo card? What was that card called? Oh, I can't find it. Dimitri had the card that said, you know, storm. Or no, he said storms are cast. So that's yeah, storm copies are cast. Therefore, Hemlex Axe would get countered. You can't play more than 1 spell per turn. Can't be casting. Yeah, you can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. Okay, that's cool. It's probably gonna create absolute mayhem. But it's totally fine. Oh, was it Nail? Yeah, Nail. Nail is the counter to the Hemlex Axe. For all the super chats in queue, we'll get to all the big super chats on the second half of the show. Okay, we will take a look at I can't pronounce this. Cthulhu Unfathomable is a black, blue, 13 generic creature. It's up there with Emrakul for casting cost. So 13 Leviathan Horror God. Flying, Indestructible, and Shroud. Cthulhu Unfathomable can't be blocked. And when Cthulhu enters or attacks, each opponent mills cards equal to its power. Then puts X11 counters, +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of non-land cards milled this way. Flying, Indestructible, Shroud, it attacks, mill cards equal to its power. Honestly, I think this is super... It's super crap. You spent sorry, it's not 15 mana, it's 17 mana. It's 17 mana, and it doesn't even win the game. That's it. Like, this is how I'm looking at this. Reanimate this? I mean, you can, but there's like a lot of cards you can reanimate and basically say you win like instantaneously. Hey, JT. Catch yourself on the replay. I don't even think it's that even... But you can get edicted and it dies. ETB, each opponent mills X cards, and put X +1/+1 counters on X was the number of non-land cards milled this way. So it keeps getting bigger. I guess it will win pretty quickly. Maybe it's good with, what's it called? Goryo's Vengeance. Because with Goryo's Vengeance, you can reanimate it and it'll get haste on the same turn and then potentially get him. You can't, since you can't target. You can target in the graveyard. It has no abilities in the graveyard. It's got no abilities. It's Flying, Indestructible, and Shroud only in play. And the graveyard is just, it is powerless. It is meaningless. It's not like it can't be blocked from the graveyard either. Mill 60 card decks in 3 turns. Yeah, and that's an eternity, Julie. 3 turns? You're gonna be the immediate threat on the table. If you want mill, then cast Ulamog. Guess that's a possibility too. Anyway, I mean, it's legal if you want to play this card. I mean, I don't think it dangers, okay? I think it's a very doable card. But I think when it's 17 mana and you got to cheat this thing in play, it should be even more indestructible and crazy. Broken with Calibrated Blast? Maybe. But, you know, good luck building the Calibrated Blast deck. Very, very difficult. So the Olan's Calibrated Blast deck. Okay, we've got One Frame James with the Polychromatic Seclusion. Polychromatic. Just look that up. I bet you're the only person who's ever used that word in this channel. Okay, we got a blue instant as an additional cost to cast this spell. Exile a multicolored card from your hand. I'll discard Omnath. Sorry, I'll exile Omnath. Exile target spell. Search its owner's graveyard, hand, and library for all cards that with the same name as that card and exile them. Then that player shuffles their library. Players can't cast spells that share a color with that card, except card exiled for this spell's cost until end of turn. Hold on, I'm a little lost here. Players can't cast spells that share a color with the card exiled for this spell's cost until end of turn. Okay, so if I exile a Gruul card, my opponent cannot play Gruul for that particular turn. I'm assuming this is fine. It sounds so clunky and so hard to pull off. It's just near damn impossible. Zamich, welcome. Or I should say, like, you can do it once, but like trying to cheat this thing with, say, you can't do it with Isochron Scepter. I don't know if you can actually do anything with this card from the graveyard. It's broken? I don't think so. And also, it's like really bad in Commander because, okay, search your owner's graveyard, hand, and library for all cards with that same name. I mean, there's only one card, and that's the card that you exiled. I mean, it's a weird counterspell. It's exile target spell, so anything in play is, you know, it's invincible to the Polychromatic Seclusion. Exile a Wooburg card. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's say you exile Niv Mizzet. What happened here? You countered a spell, and they can't play spells for the rest of the turn that have a color with Wooburg. They can still play artifacts. They can still play Eldrazi. So, it's just like a weird silence, but it costs you 2 cards. Like, I don't know. Does no one respect card advantage in 2024? I respect card advantage. I want cards in my hand, damn it. Which exiled card is the last part referring to? The last part is referring to the card exiled onto the card, not the card that you exiled away. The one that you, like, I don't know how to describe this effect. The exile casting ability. Okay, I like it. I think that works. It's a good conversation piece. Oh, you got the polychromatic seclusion. And also, like, it would be so hard. I mean, what, you're going to play with a full Wooburg deck in order to, like, make the best use out of this? It's only until end of turn. And by the way, most people just tap out anyway. People tap out to play their spell. Also, it's not even going to stop them from playing instants. So it's like, let's say you exile a Wooburg card in response. They bolt you in the face or something like that. Or use a removal spell. As a lock piece, that's not interactable. Of course you can interact with this thing. You can re-counter it. You can play into cards in response. You can wait till your next turn. This is a bad silence. It's like silence plus counterspell and this sort of melded together or whatever. Look, it's that secret in a game where you're supposed to, like, knock down the wall. Okay, I like it. Nice card. Okay, next up we go to disconfigure. I guess it's like, oh, the next step from dismember. A blue aura. Enchanted artifact. Enchanted artifact loses all abilities. If enchanted artifact is a creature, it can't attack or block. Ooh. So, enchanted artifact. I think it's totally fine. Oh, so basically, oh, I see. We're locking down artifact abilities. So you can, like, enchant, like, an equipment. And then all of a sudden you can't activate it anymore. I'm surprised they haven't made a card like this. This needs to cost 1 more. No. Look, these cards are stone cold. In general, these sort of enchant something and it loses all abilities. They're crap. All right, they're just absolute crap. They're really bad. We have cards like Witness Protection that basically barely see play. Have you ever heard Bind the Monster? These cards are all bad. Nobody plays them. There's no... It should be free as far as I'm concerned. So, 1 mana to make an artifact lose all its abilities, or make a creature not attack or block, I think is completely fair game. Agreed, but they're still usually 2 CMC or more. They're terrible. And this one, even at 1 CMC, is terrible too. They're getting more aggressive with these things. There used to be a lot of pacifism effects, and now all these pacifisms are gotten down to like 1 mana. Witness Protection saw more play because of Shield Dread. Oh, did it? I know I play with Witness Protection. Does that to the creature for 2, basically, for artifacts. Yeah, this is like, for artifacts, green destroys them, and 2 disabling them for 1 is fine. Also, like, remember, this is artifacts. It's not even creatures. This is more narrow than anything before. I guess what it is like a counter almost to Soul Ring, 1 person's Soul Ring. So you should feel offended if someone goes after your Soul Ring. Kitesail Arsonist is this with a body, flying, ward, and can do it on creatures. But I think it's for as long as Kitesail Arsonist is in play, right? Okay, next up, let's look at Islarf. I'm sorry, last turn. You don't have to apologize so much, Islarf. I'm sorry. I'm sure if I look up I'm sorry, a lot of people are going to have things. Okay. The last turn, it's very Dimitri-like. Okay, we have green, red, white, 3 generic sorcery. The spell can't be cast unless you have 5 or less life, have exactly 1 opponent, and have no other players on your team. Choose a creature you control, then all other permanents in play are sent to the graveyard. Indestructible can't prevent this, and each player discards all cards in their hand. Then your opponent may search their library for a creature card and put it into play. These creatures fight. Okay, then at the beginning of the next end step, if only 1 player controls a creature, that creature's controller wins the game. Otherwise, the game ends in a draw. How does this work? Choose a creature you control. So basically, hold on. So like what we're doing is we're choosing a creature in play, and we're exiling everything and giving our opponent the option to put like their best creature on the battlefield. You're like supremely arrogant to play this card, to think that your one creature in play is going to be better than every creature in your opponent's deck. This card has like 50 rules just for itself in Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh my goodness. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Rulings of this card is like 3 pages long. Kanto's like, cringe. Cringe Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards are a nightmare. I love them. I love them. Oh my god, I was literally just brainstorming how to make Last Turn into a Magic the Gathering card. Does this work? Does this work for you? It means nothing to me. I don't know what Last Turn is. Hold on, can I look up Last Turn? Last Turn, Yu-Gi-Oh! I think I found it. Oh, I'm not reading all this. Forget it. I basically already read this once. Does this work? It works. Is it good? I actually think it's crap. I think it's absolute crap. Unless you have an indestructible creature out, maybe this ends up getting better. Because if you have an indestructible, then if one player controls a creature, that player well, I guess what you have to do is set up what? An indestructible Death Toucher. Then that works. Maybe. It's funny. Jonah says it works. It got banned because it's a rules nightmare. Well, no, I mean it works. I'm talking about like it works in Magic the Gathering. Like this interpretation works. Chris says in Yu-Gi-Oh! They prevented the search and summon of the opponent to win instantly. Ah, clever. Oh, so I see. So we can have like Leon. Oh no, but you have to remove everything else in play. Is there a Leonin Arbiter, like, Anthem? I don't think so. Interesting. Yeah, we can't have our own Leonin Arbiter prevent the opponent from searching, because we gotta exile that thing too, unless the ability still stands until the whole thing resolves. The manga, that makes sense. Manga is before the game? I don't know. Okay. Go back to the freebie section. We got Dire Apotheosis. Dire Apotheosis is a blue 4 generic sorcery. Exile your hand. Plot your library. What the hell? So what, we're gonna like put the whole library onto the battlefield next turn for free? Because that's what plot is. You like pay for the cost in advance. This 7 mana is not enough mana. That is not nearly enough mana. You're just like a few like mana rocks away from casting this and just playing your entire library. All for the low cost of exiling your hand. Oh, boo-hoo. Essentially what they're doing is like, okay, I play Dire Apotheosis. You've got to kill me by your next turn, because if you don't, it's gonna be a dire world for you too. So you deck yourself next turn, unless you can play all your stuff at instant speed, so that you might have an instant speed combo on your upkeep. Remember, you might be able to play, I don't know, I don't think you can play your enchant. Can you play everything at instant speed? I don't think so. You have to play everything at normal speed, right? But you probably have a win condition. Like, there's probably some sort of quicken into Thassa's Oracle, you know what I mean? Quicken, show and tell, Thassa's Oracle, victory! Come on, you plotted your whole library. There's gotta be a way you can win the game. Go, open your minds. Yeah, there we go, exactly. Guys, we broke the Oracle. It's the Dire Apotheosis. It's basically a ticking time bomb. Once you got this, the ticker is timing. It's going down, it's ticking down. And it goes off on my next turn. So actually I was just thinking you could heist and play this at the end of somebody else's turn before it's your turn, but then you don't get the quicken anymore. I was thinking heist. LOL, plot your library. Okay, Eris is like, print this. I just want to see it happen. No. Yeah, I mean, I could see this at like 10 mana or more. Like, it's got to be a little bit higher. Like, how hard? You're just like, I don't know, Soul Ring into a Lotus, Gilded Lotus or something, and then all of a sudden you're completely screwed. The one frame, James, it's like a card that twos your whole library and makes it all free. Exactly. But next turn, right? Not immediately. No, Chu is having none of this card. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's busted. I mean, it's completely busted.
No, God, please, no.
It's terrible. It's got to be more. It's got to be more expensive. It's got to be expensive enough that it's like if you pay this much mana, you deserve to win the game. But 7 is not that. Look, come on, there were crappier Eldrazi's at 7 mana. Yeah, exactly. It danger, Nola. It complete danger. +2 mana and make the plot only if cast by hand. Maybe if only lands. The mana spent to cast this card is only coming from lands. Like you can like ritual this damn thing. There are storm decks. No, I guess not. Storm would not play this thing. All right. Enough tomfoolery. We gotta thank our sponsors today. FusionGamingOnline.com. Deal of the week. Save 15% off Modern Horizons 3 singles and sealed product. Oh, I'm taking a look at actually those fetch lands. They got some new fetch lands and also new shock lands that they came out with Modern Horizons 3. I think now is the time to get a deal on those things. Only at FusionGamingOnline.com, today's sponsor. And don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu at checkout to get an additional 5% off all your purchases. We're also going to thank none other than Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. Your ability to play any format, anytime that you want, with any deck that you want. If you're getting sick of a deck or afraid of things getting banned, you want to rent the cards. You don't want to own them. You don't want to be holding that bag. And that, therefore, renting makes it cheaper if you would like to play with a whole lot of decks. It's a bandless saver if you're afraid of getting your decks or cards banned, and you get to play all the decks you want. You can support the channel renting with Mana Traders for Magic Online using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_IEP. Back to Reddit cards. You crazy wild people. Okay, we got super chats up the galore here. Let's start with the Dam Draws, the Flood Part 1 Rebalanced. This is Flood Part 1 Rebalanced, you say? Okay, I'm gonna do half of them now. I'll do the other half a little bit later. So 5 cards now. The Flood, you say? What is this based on? 0 mana. We're coming out crazy here. Okay, it is a 0/1 Flood Might with Shroud. Pay 0, tap, enchant target creature at the beginning of enchanted creature's owner's upkeep. Put a -1/-1 counter on enchanted creature. If the enchanted creature dies this way, create a tap 0/2 Flood Carrier creature token with Defender. Oh, this reminds... There's some other card that was like this. It was like a leech or something that it had a very, very similar effect. 0 mana, I think, is still busted. 0 mana. It has Shroud. You can't get rid of this thing. 0 enchant creature at the beginning of the enchant player's owner's upkeep. It gets -1/-1. I actually think this is too strong. I think it should cost at least 1 mana. At least 1 mana for this effect. I mean, it basically kills off all 1 toughness creatures. And probably it'll kill off basically 2 toughness creatures with time, while still being on the battlefield. Hold on, enchanted creature dies this way. Create a tapped black 0/2 Flood Carrier token with Defender. Do we get to still keep the Flood Spore, or did the Flood Spore die with the creature? I can't tell. Like, if we get to keep the Flood Spore, then that's what's like beyond insane. The Flood is some kind of parasitic hive mind plague from the Halo game series. Ah, another series. The Flood Spore dies. The dies with the creature. Okay, maybe it's more playable than I thought. Still very aggressive. Very, very aggressive. Flood Pod Infector, a 1 mana 2/1 Flood Spawn. When this creature destroys an opponent's creature. Well, how's that gonna happen? Sacrifice Flood Pod Infector and amass Flood 1. Then you may put a flood creature from your hand onto the battlefield with mana value equal to or less than the highest power among flood army creatures you control. I don't understand what this card does. This creature cannot destroy another creature. So what you're telling me is if this creature exchanges with something in combat, flood spawn, or is this a token? No, this is an actual card. Then you may put a flood creature. I don't know what this card does. I assume it's like, okay, let's say it's the exchange. Sacrifice flood. How do we even sacrifice this if this creature destroys an opponent's creature? What, like through fight? You can block with multiples of them. There's tokens of these you can make as well. But if it's dead, here's the problem. If it's dead, then you don't get the ability. Like, I don't get it. If a creature dealt damage by this creature dies this turn. Yeah, it should. Pedgeman knows how to word this. Yeah, that would work better. So then, if a creature dealt damage by this creature dies this turn, sacrifice Flood Pod Infector and amass Flood 1. That actually would work. Anyway, as worded, it don't make sense. We got to clean up that wording. We got the Flood Cedar. It's a black 1 generic 2/1 flood spawn with flying. When Flood Cedar destroys an opponent's creature. Again, yeah, so you need to word these as if a creature dealt damage by this creature would die this turn, then X happens. Or I guess then you would say sacrifice Flood Cedar and amass Flood 2. Then you may return another flood creature with mana value equal to or less than the highest power among flood army creature tokens. I have a feeling these are broken, but I'm not sure. They're sort of also weak looking at the same time. Okay, we got the Flood Carrier, 3 mana 0/2 Flood Carrier with Defender. When Flood Carrier dies, create 2 black 2/1 Flood Pod Infector creature tokens and deal 1 damage to a target creature. If target creature dies this way, oh, we do know the terminology. If target creature dies this way, sacrifice Flood Pod Infector. This is exactly how you should word all of these. That's how it's done, basically. Because creatures don't destroy other creatures in this game. Okay, Human Combat Form. For 4 mana, it's a 4/3 with Assimilate for 3. When this creature destroys another creature, oh god, this wording. You may sacrifice a Flood Pod Infector, then create a copy of the destroyed creature. It is a flood in addition to its other types. Oh, so we're basically copying something that we killed. And then for 4 mana, sacrifice a Flood Pod Infector. Return Human Combat Form from the graveyard to the battlefield with haste and a perpetual -1/-1 counter on it. At some point, it's going to have perpetual like -4. And then die instantly. Okay, I know what you're going with, but okay, we'll say it passes. You like the dark stuff. The Alien series was dark, and now we've got this Spore Infector stuff. You like the dark side, the damn draws, the dark side. Okay, next up. We've got, let's look at Majra's, part 9 of the Vexladesh. Oops, where am I going? Part 9 of Vexladesh. Alright, we got that out of the way. Oh, the damn draws. What did you want to do? You only get 10 cards per show. Memento Rebalance, fair fight. Because it looks like you're throwing out like 30 cards. Everyone gets 10. That's the rule now. Only 10 cards per show, unless you want to like save your balance for the next custom Magic the Gathering card stream. Or we'll figure it out. We'll see how much time that we have. Okay, we got Majra, huge fan of custom Magic the Gathering cards. J9, the Kind-Hearted, is a blue white 2/2 Fox Rogue Wizard Noble with Flash. Is it Janine? Maybe it's Janine. Janine enters the battlefield. Counter target spell, then gain 3 life. That is absolutely insane. And it's got Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, gain 1 life. And also at the beginning of each end step, if you gain 7 life or more this turn, draw a card. I actually think this is insanely balanced. This is just basically the Mystic Snake of today, right? This is just Mystic. This is like just an updated Mystic Snake. So instead of countering spells and getting a body, you're countering spells, gaining a body, and you get a little life out of it. You get a little life. Okay, next up, we're gonna take a look at Janine's Reveries. Is a white-blue legendary instant. Counter target non-creature spell and every opponent spells that wasn't cast. What the hell does that mean? We're countering all the spells that aren't cast. You gain 2 life for each spell countered this way. Okay, that makes no sense. I gain 2 life for each spell that my opponents did not cast. Yeah, it's I guess anti-storm or something. Oh, every spell that wasn't. Oh, I see. So cards that were just put directly onto the stack. But you can counter those things anyway. Yeah, so I guess it's counter storm and then counter every spell that also wasn't cast. You can just say it's okay, whatever. It's an anti like empty the warrens or grape shot card. If any player has cast 7 or more spells this turn, draw a card. Ooh, okay, so you're definitely gonna cash in on this. If you control 7 more artifacts, draw a card. I don't even know if that last ability mattered. But it's definitely an anti-storm card. Honestly, to be brutally honest, you might still lose to storm. Anyway, you still might lose to storm. It sounds strange because once they go to storm, they can like restorm again and again. So you might gain a lot of life from the first storm, but they can I don't know, they can do it at least maybe 1 more time. Maybe the 2 life is too much. Flesh storm already exists, but do you gain life? Do you gain life, Eris? It's a legendary instant, so I believe she can do that? Of course she can. She is a Master Void Mage. Exchange between Natasha and a passerby. Okay, next up, we take a look at the nagging words. Someone just nagging at the other. We have a red instant. Choose one. Go target creature. Or, until your next turn, target creature attacks you each combat if able. And this one has Storm. So, what, you made some busted Storm cards, Majra, and now you've got, you created the antidote with the Janine's Reveries. Okay, Path to Vexladesh. It is a white, red, blue enchantment. Flash. When Path to Vexladesh enters, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand, and then gain life equal to its mana value. Also pay 3 sacrifice Path to Vexladesh, shuffle up to 5 cards from your graveyard into your hand. Sorry, into your library, then draw 2 cards? Shuffle up to 5 cards. So you just basically put the cards from our graveyard back into the deck and then draw cards. So flash, ETB, return target instant or sorcery card back to hand. I actually think this is like such an incredibly balanced card. Or maybe not. It's 3. No, but you can't cast the card immediately. This is actually an incredibly balanced card. I bet control decks would love to play this thing. It's super fair. And it's like at 3 mana, you know, that's tough. Even at flash speed. So you play Path to Vexladesh to get another card, then you gotta pay 2 more. You do draw 2 random cards. Shuffle up to 5. Oh, you don't have to shuffle anything, I guess. Alright, and then we've got Ruffian of Vexladesh. We have a hybrid of Izzet and a white for a 2/2 Fox Rogue Samurai. Bushido 1 and Ward 1. Bringing the Bushido back. And then we've got other foxes you control have Bushido 1 and Ward 1. Definitely not breaking the game with that one. Alright, next up, let's take a look at... oh, Steve Cooper has one. We got for us Steve Cooper. Poison Ascension version 2. Poison Ascensionist version 2.1 on Discord. Multiple instances of toxic and poison attack. Stack. Poisonous is real and basically toxic, but a triggered ability. Oh my goodness. It's the lizard people. They were, there's a lot of people who believe in the lizard people on Earth. They walk among us. Okay, it's a green 1 generic 1/1 poison ascensionist. It is a snake peasant. You peasant snake. I don't even know. I don't know any snake that isn't a peasant. Okay, it's a death touch haste, and we have green 1 generic tap. If poison ascensionist is a peasant, it gains toxic 1 and vigilance. It becomes a snake warrior with base power and toughness 2/2. Triple green and 1 generic. If poison ascensionist is a warrior, it gains poisonous 2 and X-proof, and it becomes a snake shaman with base power and toughness 3/3. And then what? This last one is easiest to cast. You just pay 8 life and 1 generic. If poison ascensionist is a shaman, it gains toxic 1, poisonous, and 1 and infect, and it becomes a Phyrexian snake with base power and toughness 5/5. It's got infect to absolutely finish you off. To be honest, I think this is a fine card. This card, honestly, I don't even think this card is good. I think you could play this, and it like dies to so many things. It has death touch and haste, like off the get go, but you gotta pump it up. I mean, the first ability you have to tap. I guess it's possible that if you have a lot of mana, you tap. Like the other ones aren't tap abilities, right? This is the first one is tap. Harris is like, but why does it have haste? Why do that to us here? Don is like, I thought the lizard people were supposed to be celebrities. Snake guy is here slacking off. Hey, look, not everyone's a celebrity, you know. Some people are just run-of-the-mill people, you know. You got some lizard people probably handing you burgers at McDonald's. Hey, even the lizard people, they gotta eat. It's a very fast snake. Very, very quick. Okay, next up, let's take a look at, okay, Dimitri has another big one. Okay, me doing AI cards made by Dimitri, copying AI. Will it Zyber or Chaos? Season 1. Will it Zyber? All right, Season 1. Okay, the paradoxical angel detective for 0 mana. What are we? And it's an 80/16. So this came out of AI. Eldrazi Cyberman Phyrexian Angel Detective. You might be giving us some little insight into like what the AI cards look like on I don't know, the AI channel. Haste, Lifelink, Vigilance, Indestructible, Shroud. The Paradoxical Angel Detective is goated if a Time Lord, Dalek, or colorless creature is owned by your opponent. While this creature is goated, you may pay either life or mana to enter your battle phase. When this creature enters from the command zone, add X cards from your card collection to your library. This allows multiple copies to exist in your library. Partner with all colors. Absolutely no. Absolutely not. And we got the Phyrexian Graveyard. I like the name. That's a banger name. So hopefully this is not too broken. This is another 0 mana card. You may cast this spell for 0. Yeah, no kidding. If you have a Phyrexian permanent of each color in exile. While this enchantment is on the battlefield, each permanent you control produces persistent Wooburg, X, and energy when attacking, where X is your life plus the total damage dealt to planeswalkers and creatures. When a planeswalker your opponent controls loses all loyalty counters, then you gain control of that planeswalker, but it does not leave the battlefield when it has no loyalty counters, and it gains loyalty counters equal to your life multiplied by your devotion to all colors. I don't even know what it does. I felt like I said a lot of words that were English. Okay, while this enchantment is on the battlefield, each perm you control so each permanent. So every land I control makes Wooburg plus energy when attacking. Sorry. Okay, so only the perms that attack, where X is your life total. Oh my god, this is just an absolute sane. Madra's like, my brain! My brain is fried! I cast hand and rip that card to pieces. Or this is what you do. You do a sorry, not Yu-Gi-Oh move. You do a Pokemon TCG move where you grab the card and then you eat it. And it doesn't exist in. Then you call the judge and say your opponent is down like 1 card. That's what you do around here. All right. Well, anyway, that's also disqualified. Okay, Serena. Like, now, what are you putting in to these? What inputs are you putting in with the AI to like create these things? These aren't even remotely reasonable looking Magic the Gathering cards. Serena, the Phyrexian-born Battle Mage Angel. It is green, red, blue, white, 3 generic for a 99/1 creature with Defender, Lifelink, and Indestructible. Ward, basically infinite. When this creature kills a creature under your control, under your opponent's control, create X copies of that creature which have a cumulative upkeep. Pay life equal to this creature's mana value. If you do, this creature's mana value goes up by that much. Have we ever had creatures where their mana value increases while they're on the battlefield? That many, it goes up by that much, and this creature gains that many +X counters, where X is your opponent's battlefield's total mana value, where your opponents pay this card's ward cost, then you gain life equal to the mana spent, and you draw. Oh, by the way, of all the things after all this, you get to draw 3 cards. Always a bigger fish, pretty far behind the stream. I don't know if it's been said, plot your library and will make you lose at draw step without prep. Well, of course, you need preparation. You're gonna win at your upkeep. Okay, Mother Teresa Chandra. This might be the only real Magic card. Okay, the font isn't too small. It costs 8 mana. Oh my god, it's got 50 loyalty. Plus 20. Target non-land, non-creature, and non-planeswalker permanent, and draw cards and gain life equal to target's mana value. Well, Chaos is absolutely ensuing here. The minus X. And the X can be enormous. Yeah, only 50. A low 50 loyalty. Only a low 50 loyalty. Okay, create all possible counters on every permanent you control, then proliferate X times. What the hell? So we can like proliferate like X. Isn't there like a instant death counter? Like there's an assassin counter or something like that? And we can put all possible counters on every permanent we control and then give like 50 of them. That wouldn't do anything though. Minus 20. Create an emblem that states when a counter is made, create a copy of all permanent creatures and artifacts. Anyway. These dangers, because they attack the opponent directly with psychic damage reading them. This is one loyal planeswalker. Very loyal. Very, very, very loyal. Okay, Mana Explosion, the multicolor range. It is Wooburg, one colorless and X. Instant. Deal X damage to all permanents on the battlefield, then deal Y, which is X multiplied by the total mana value added by the combined power and toughness of the battlefield damage, and damage to all players. I think this is very poorly worded as well. Ban that yesterday. No, ban it last week. Ban it before it came into existence. Someone travel back in time and ban this thing. Ban its mother. All right, next up. Let's take a look at, let's take a small one from Jonah, the Berserker Challenge. A nod to a Lord of the Rings mechanic. Berserk Challenger. This is a red 2/3 Orc Berserker. When it attacks, untap up to 1 target creature defending player controls. It can't be tapped until end of turn. When it attacks, untap up to 1 target creature defending player. So we make it untap. It can't be tapped until end of turn. Only that creature can and must block Berserk Challenger this turn if able. Totally fine. This looks like a normal Magic the Gathering card. What's the purpose though? Like force people to block with their mana dorks? I challenge you to a duel. And by the way, you have no choice. Only that creature can block. Oh no, but they don't even have... Oh no. It should be probably worded, that creature must block. No, maybe you worded it properly. Only that creature can block and must block Berserker Challenger if able to. Absolutely. Neat card. Okay, next up, we got Daniel. A cycle of instants with Fox art. Oh, this should be interesting. Cycle of instants with the Fox art. Thank you so much, Daniel. Ooh, these are cute. I think these are adorable. We got Augur. It's an instant. Whenever an opponent draws their second card during their turn, you may exile this card from your hand. If you do, scry one, then draw a card. Oh, so it punishes people. If they play more than one spell a turn, you can... What if they never play two spells? Then this card doesn't really do anything. It's got Unnatural, blue 1 generic. You may cast this card from exile for its unnatural cost. How do we get it to exile? Oh no, oh, so yeah, in the initial ability. Scry one, then draw a card. This actually is super balanced. It's actually possible this is terrible. Because let's say I know someone's deck has Augurs in it, I will just never play two spells in one turn. That's it. And if I never play two spells in one turn, you can never get this card ever cast. Like, this just gets stuck in your hand unless you want to loot it away with something else, right? You can't cast it from your hand unless you've got, like, As Foretold or something like that. Yeah, interesting. But I'll tell you this much, it's really good. If they do play their second spell each turn, then, I mean, hey, Augur online. Scry one, draw a card, and then you go Unnatural. Scry one, draw a card. It reminds me of Think Twice, but, like, way harder to use. Use this card from exile, exile your hand, plot your library. Scry, then draw, then go home and rethink your life. I think that maybe was in reference to another card. Wait, can't you cast this from exile over and over again? Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you may cast this card from exile for its unnatural cost. I imagine at that point it goes into your graveyard. So if you cast something, so in general, the card, when you cast something, it physically moves zones. So it'll go from the exile to the stack and then go to your graveyard. So no, you cannot do it infinitely. Draw, not cast. You may cast whenever an opponent draws their second card during their turn. Oh, whoops, yeah, you're right, actually. Oh, so this punishes card draw, not people playing multiple spells per turn. That's still hard. That can be even harder versus some decks. Some decks don't even draw cards at all. Great conversation piece, I'll say that much. It's doable. It's a pass. Ship it for the art alone. Well, that's not it. We got Charm. Charm is an instant. Whenever you're attacked by two or more creatures, you may exile this card from your hand. If you do, attacking creatures get -2/-0 until end of turn. It also has Unnatural. I like this mechanic. It's very interesting. This one seems very poopy, though. Like, this is... make creatures smaller. I guess against a token deck or something. Spark. Whenever an opponent is dealt 4 or more damage from a single source you control, you may exile this card from your hand. If you do, Spark deals 2 damage to any target. So when an opponent is dealt 4 or more damage from a single source I control, and then we play this thing for free, so this is worth 4 damage. This is the best one. Easily. So a burn deck might want to play. A burn deck would play this. So burn deck would play this for a few reasons. First off, dealing 4 damage is easy. Even from a single damage source. Like, I don't know, not lightning bolt. Could even be from a creature. So you get the free 2 damage, and then you could get another 2 damage from the grain. I don't know if it dangers, but it's fine. Yeah, you have to have a single thing that deals 4 damage, but it could be a creature. It could be a creature. It could be... there's a lot of burn spells that deal for 4 damage. You'd have to build around it, alright? There's a lot of burn spells. Shoot 4 straight to the face. Yeah, it mild danger. It mildly danger. Also, there's a lot of burn hate out there, so there's no problem. We got Surge. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters under your control, you may exile this card from your hand. If you do, target creature gains haste and hexproof until end of turn. That is nuts. And you can also do the same thing, unnatural. Target creature gains haste and hexproof until end of turn. That might be the best card. It's like the easiest to pull off. You just easily give your creature... I'll tell you what you can do here. You can cast a creature with power 4, attack with a bunch of creatures, then if someone tries to kill it, you can surge it, right? Or does this trigger immediately? Whenever a creature power 4, you may exile this card from your hand. If you do, target creature. It just made me realize, how do these things trigger? Like, on Magic Online, I just realized it's worded in a way that's like awkward for digital Magic. Because, yeah, it triggers immediately, which would then tell your opponent that you have this card in your hand. So I guess it's like a hidden trigger. It's a hidden trigger you have to acknowledge immediately. It's just strange because, like, this is supposed to be like hidden information, right? These cards, this entire Unnatural series, it's hidden information because these cards are still in your hand. So, like, imagine playing against someone on Arena and then, like, you know, unnatural. This Surge card triggers when they put a 4-power creature in play. Well, I guess I know what they have. It's a May trigger, but it still triggers. That's the point. It still triggers. Well, Arena already tells your opponent when you have a pitch elemental. Does it? No card called Spark, but can Spark exist for lore reasons? Yeah, why not? Anyway, okay, interesting. And we got Ring. This is an instant. Whenever a creature with mana value 3 or more an opponent controls dies, you may exile this card from your hand. And if you do, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. That's totally fine. Each opponent loses 2 life and gain 2 life. I wonder if there's a better... I think a safer way to word these would be to say, if a creature with mana value 3 or more an opponent controls dies this turn, you may exile, if a creature with mana value 3 or more an opponent controls died this turn, you may exile this card from your hand, so it's like, it's not like it triggers immediately. You can just play it whenever, so long as the requirement has been met. I think that would be infinitely better. The images were made with Bing. Credit given to Bing. In my opinion, it would be better if it was worded if... Yeah, exactly. If insert clause, then you may cast the card without paying its mana cost. I agree. And then that gets rid of the whole weirdo trigger thing. But this really original cycle. Very, very original. I like it. I like it. Okay, hold on. We've got... Okay, we got more super chats. Next one coming from The Black Shadow. Diablo Demons Commander Set. Everyone's building stuff on games that they like. Diablo Demons Commander Set. I want to see if these would work as a fair but stays on theme. Okay, we will do... Okay, I guess I'll just chain through all of these at once. Diablo, the Lord of Terror. The black, red, 4 generic 9/9 Demon Lord. It's aggressive. That's not an ability. That ability does not exist. Okay, trample, haste, first strike, and dethrone. Is aggressive a mechanic that I just don't know about? These are all other mechanics, right? At the beginning of each opponent's end step, if that player has more than 7 cards in hand, they discard cards equal to the difference, and you create that many 1/1s. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, if that player has more... Oh, that's cool. That's totally fair. No, this is not a mechanic. The Diablo is aggressive. The Diablo is aggressive. Mephisto, Lord of Hate. It's a black, red, 2 generic 4/4 Lord Demon. By the way, actually, I think this is a unique mechanic where if your opponent has to discard to hand size, you get some benefit out of it. It should just be worded like that. If your opponent has to discard to hand size, you get like a 1/1 demon for each card discarded this way. Okay, Mephisto, 5 mana for a 4/4 Demon Lord. Whenever a demon or devil you control attacks, goad target creature you don't control. Whenever a goaded creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on Mephisto, and each opponent loses 1 life. I have no idea how strong or weak this card is. Honestly, have not played with goad enough to know if this would work. Whenever a goad creature attacks, this thing gets bigger. Whenever a devil or demon you control attacks, goad target creature, it's gotta be fine. I don't like, maybe devils break this, maybe. Demons definitely do not. Demons are chonky, very chonky creatures. Diablo forces discard, even if opponent has no maximum hand size. Oh, is that true? At the beginning of each opponent's end step, if that player has more than 7 cards in hand, they discard cards equal to the difference. It's basically discarding the hand size, right? Okay, Baal, Lord of Destruction. 5 mana for a 3/3. It's also got... is this supposed to be haste? I think it's supposed to be haste. It's aggressive. It's got Myriad. When Baal, Lord of Destruction, deals combat damage to a creature, tap it and put a stun counter on that creature. The legendary rule doesn't apply to Baal, Lord of Destructions. We have as many Baal, Lord of Destructions on the battlefield. Steve Cooper chiming in. Oh, aggressive appeared on a playtest card. Is why it didn't show up. During your turn, there is an additional combat phase after the first, and only creatures with aggressive may attack during it. Oh, I see. So you can attack twice, but only with aggressive. Well, how many creatures have aggressive? This thing has aggressive, which could be aggressive, but it's also a very expensive card. It's for 8 mana. The Black Soulstone. Red, 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 black, 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 2 generic, indestructible. Whenever a demon lord you control dies, instead exile it with 10 soul counters. Whenever a non-token creature dies, remove a soul counter from each demon lord you own in exile. And then at the beginning of your end step, return each demon lord you own with no soul counters on them from exile to the battlefield. This looks so fair. Whenever a non-token creature dies, remove a soul counter. Oh, I see. So, I mean, you could board wipe and bring all your demons back. I like the flavor. I actually like the flavor a lot. Do I have a good sound effect that describes this? I don't have anything demonic or anything like that. This is the closest I got. The demons, they're coming back. Oh, aggressive is like double strike. Yeah, you're right, Bonovsky. It's effectively, it's just everything's double strike now. Belial, the Lord of the Lies. Okay, it's a red, black, 2 generic for a 2/3 demon lord. Non-token creatures you control have. You may have this creature enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it's an illusion addition to its other types, and it has, when this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. Belial, Lord of Lies. Red, black, 2 generic. So the non-token, you may have this creature enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield. I think that's fine. So it's a clone, right? When this becomes, isn't it just a clone? Non-token creatures you control have, you may have. Oh, so it's, is it like a, it's like turns all future things into a clone? Okay, so yeah, non-token creatures you control. So as I cast a creature, you can have this creature enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it's an illusion. Okay, that's totally fine. That's, you know, it's a neat card. That's actually a very unique card. It's like a card that turns everything into a clone. You would think they would have made a card like this by now in blue. I feel it's like a little off the color pie here. Okay, Asmodan, the Lord of Sin. It's a red, red, black, 3 generic, 3/5 demon lord. Pay 4, tap. Asmodan, Lord of Sin, deals X damage to any target, where X is the number of demons and devils you control. Now, if a creature dies this way, amass demons 1 with aggressive. If a creature dies, oh, so if you kill a creature with this ability, and when Asmodan deals combat damage to a player, create a 1/1 demon with menace. I think these are so far pretty fair cards. They all look like they could actually come out of a commander deck. The Butcher. Oh, they're coming to get the meat. It is a red-black 3 generic 4/4 demon with again with aggressive. Pay 4 tap. The butcher fights target creature. And whenever a creature dealt damage, whenever a creature dealt damage by the butcher dies, put a +1/+1 counter on the butcher. Beautiful. Yeah, wants that fresh meat. Gotta get it fresh. This is also totally fine. And lastly, the Lilith, mother of sanctuary, the red-black 3 generic 3/4 demon. Okay, it's got 4 mana tap, gain control of target non-legendary creature. Other creatures you control but don't own get +2/+2. So we can continuously swipe creatures. Yeah, I think that's okay. And also buffs those creatures that we take. Because it's going to come into play. We're probably going to be tapped out. It's got summoning sickness. Got to wait till next turn. We swipe something and then we start attacking with it. Thanks so much for the series. The Diablo Demons. Okay, now we're going to look at Austin. Let's take a little... Oops. Thanks. First time catching a stream. Thanks for all the content. Thank you so much, Austin. Thank you very much for that wonderful donation. With that donation, even though that you didn't ask for any cards, we'll donate one to the freebie section. The Vitality Suspension. It is a 0 mana artifact. Pay 2, tap, untap, tap, untap, tap, untap, tap, 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 untap. You gain 1 life. Shake well before use. This is more of a joke card than anything. It's not a real card. What a waste. Jacob says, the way the butcher is worded, it doesn't need to damage the creature on the same turn it dies. Just damage it, and it needs to die at a later point. No donation to the Discord? Oh. Pedgeman is like, what about me? What about me? Okay, the next donation will go to you. Okay, let's get... Okay, wait, which part did you want the damn draws? Did you want to look at the second half of your Flood Part 1, or you had something else? Memento Mori. Let's take a look at some of these for a second. Memento Mori. Rebalanced. Oh, it's only 1 card. Okay, that's fine. You spent, fair... Oh, you have Fair Fight version 3. Oh, you have a bunch of them here. Okay, let's look at Memento Mori. Okay, we'll do all these separate ones, and then I guess we'll finish off the balance of the last pile. Okay, we got Memento Mori for a black 3 generic, legendary enchantment, indestructible. Enchant target player. Whenever a non-token creature the enchanted player doesn't control dies. Whenever a non-token creature the enchanted player doesn't control. What the hell does that mean? How can they have something that they don't control and it dies? If they don't control it, then whenever a non-token creature... Oh, sorry. Okay, I get it. So, like, you enchant Susan with this thing, but my creature dies. The enchanted player creates a copy of that creature, except it's a 1/2 black skeleton. They lose life equal to that creature's mana value. Ah, yeah. Yeah, it's the opponent's creature. I had to think outside the box. Those were made with AI art, and I based the effect off the art. Oh, interesting. So you made an art, and then you made a card off the art. Okay, next one that you have was Fair Fight version 3. What the hell is this? Where did this come from? It's, what is it? Rocky versus Drago or something like that. Okay, we have a white 1 generic enchantment. All creatures lose menace, first strike and double strike, and can't gain those abilities. Attacking and blocking creatures take turns dealing 1 damage to each other equal to their power. Attacking creatures deal damage first and can only be blocked by a single creature. Now, if your attacking or blocking creature destroys an opponent's creature, put the destroyed creature on the bottom of its owner's library. And draw a card. If an opponent attacking or blocking creatures like creature destroys one of your creatures, you may put it third from the top. If you do, that opponent draws a card. What does that have to do with the picture? What? How did you interpret that out of this? How did that happen? It's like, okay, I look at this. Yeah, that looks about right. All creatures lose menace, first strike, double strike. That was terrible. That's how, boxing gloves. I guess that's how boxing works. You deal damage to each other one punch at a time. You know, I think this is a little too complicated. By the way, it doesn't work like that in boxing. No one takes, it's not a slapping contest. So if you've seen slap fights, like each person gets to slap each other sequentially back and forth. But in boxing, I mean, you don't trade blows. I mean, one person could be way better than the other, and one person's getting hit and the other person doesn't get hit at all. So if it was a slap fight contest, that would make some sense. Anyway. 2 thumbs down. I don't think that card worked. And it's like really complicated. It's like way too complicated. And you had one more. Jam the radar. Oh, I'm looking forward to this one. Ooh, I'm looking forward to this one. Okay, we have a blue 1 generic. And you also want 2 donated. Sounds good for Pedgeman. Okay, Jam the Radar. Blue 1 generic. Instant. Counter target spell that would allow a player to look at or draw cards from their library or look at other players' hands and libraries. That player shuffles their library. You also have flashback for a blue. That's a 10 out of 10 card if you ask me. That is a 10 out of 10 card. Muhammad Ali was known to not get touched at all. Exactly. Well, I mean, you know, boxing is a skill game, you know. Yeah, we need more Spaceballs on this show. That's basically my keep in the dark. Oh, is it? Basically the same thing. Great minds think alike. This is the Universes Beyond version. Or like, I don't know, yeah, is that color? That's correct. Universes Beyond. Or Secret Lair. An extra skin. Okay, you want 2 donations? Let's look at 2 donations. All right, you got it, Pedgeman. All right, here's your chance. We go spin the wheel. We spin the wheel, and where does the wheel end? Looks like a Pedgeman card. Is it a Pedgeman card? It is a Pedgeman card. Reverse Ideology. Tap. Exchange control of all creatures you control with target opponent, then flip Reverse Ideology. What's funny is, why is this backwards? Oh, this is the first side. Okay, hold on. This is the top side. It's Seija Kaijin. Red 2 generic for a 6/9. That is enormous. Seija Kaijin can't be blocked as long as defending player controls a permanent they don't own. Seija Kaijin can't be blocked as long as defending player controls a permanent they don't own. Whenever Seija Kaijin becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, flip it. So we are highly incentivized. What is it with the 69? That was not a mistake, Pedgeman. That was not a mistake. All right, so we flip this thing into Reverse Ideology. Tap. Exchange control of all creatures you control with target opponent. Then flip Reverse Ideology. I think this thing's broken. I think it's completely broken. I think this is busted. I mean, it's just basically 4 mana. And we're going to exchange control of all creatures you control with target opponent, then flip it. You could have nothing. You could have absolutely nothing. Because 69 flipped is still 69. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. I guess that's the only... No, you could also have 88. 88 works too. The damn gets it. Okay, so that was 1 donation. I think this card is actually broken. Okay, second donation too. Ooh, from Darth Taurus. Can take a look at something from your series. The Dead Bird is a black 2 generic artifact with Murder of X. X tap, create X 1/1 black zombie crow creature tokens with flying. We just create 1/1s. I can't tell if this is like really strong or not. So basically 3 mana does nothing. But then on every following turn, you could just make a bunch of 1/1s. But they're only 1/1s. It's called a dead bird. Why is it called dead bird? We're making a murder of crow. Oh, we're making zombie crows. Zombies. Do you think it's broken? You do nothing on turn 1. Then you make like what? Sorry, you do nothing on turn 3, where you tap out for this. It's probably strong. A group of crows is a murder. There's been a murder. Yeah, I think it's probably strong too. It looks innocent enough. This is like a card where like, it looks innocent enough. Then you start playing against it. Oh, this is obnoxious. Can play like these. Can make these stupid crows every single turn. Okay, next up, we'll take a look at Madra's Part 10 of the Vexladesh. Ooh, we got there. Thanks so much, Madra. Huge supporter of the show. Miyamoto, the Star Slayer, is a blue-white 2/2 Fox Rogue Samurai Noble with Ward 1 and Bushido 1. Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, target Fox you control gets Provoke until end of turn. Now for a red, attach target equipment to target creature. That creature gains haste! And also then if its power is greater than its base power, each other creature you control gets +X/+X, where X is equal to the difference. This ability can only be activated once each turn. I don't know what to say about this card. This is just, it's got a bunch of words on it. Target Fox you control gets Provoke? I don't even remember what that means. Provoke. This is, no, I was thinking of Prowl for a second. Oh, is it? Oh, Provoke is like, you make every creature block that creature if possible. Red. Attach target equipment to target creature. That creature gains haste, and if the power is great. This is a way to cheat equipment on a particular creature. If the power is greater than its base power, each other creature you control gets +. It's like a weird, super weird Crater Hoof behemoth. Provoke means when the creature attacks, you pick a target that must block it. Oh, okay. So very, not maybe similar in theme. You get someone to block it. 5 mana, yeah, 5 mana hammer time. I guess it's okay. It's possible this card is broken by something else, but I just don't know what it is right now. Miyamoto Star Ring Kekai. It is a white 3 generic legendary enchantment with flash and super parade, whatever that means. When Miyamoto Star Ring Kekai enters the battlefield, creature you control gets +0/+1 for each creature you control until end of turn. Huh? So ETB, I guess creatures you control get +0/+1 for each creature you control. Okay, so you have 5 creatures. They all get buffed up by +0/+5. Whenever a creature you control blocks one or more creatures, for each creature blocked, if the blocking creature's toughness is greater than the blocked creature's power, it deals damage equal to the difference to the blocked creature. What? Okay, our creature blocks one or more creatures. Now for each creature blocked, if the blocking creature's toughness is greater, so our creature that has like 5 toughness is greater than the block creature's power. So let's say our creature has 6 toughness, they have a power of 1. It deals damage equal to the difference to the block creature. So bigger the butt that we have, the more damage we deal to the creature. Okay. What does this thing do anyway? Like when after the ability? Oh, you have this bottom ability. That's the point. Okay, Super Parade. You can exile this permanent for prevent damage from any source. Hopefully it's not too broken. Oh no, we got a battle card. Okay, it's got 1 defense. It's Just Guy X. Sap the Vipa hotter than July. When Sapta Vipa hotter than July enters, add X defense counters to it. Each player creates X treasure tokens and you discover X. Whenever an opponent casts a spell or play a land, Sapta Vipa hotter than July deals damages equal to the number of defense counters on it to that player. Whenever a non-creature permanent you control takes damage, create that many colorless 0/1 star artifact creature tokens with flying and gain 1 life for each creature you control. You know, like the front side of these things aren't that insane usually. Oh no, these are not battles. This is a sigil. This is different. Add X defense counters on it, where X, each player creates X treasure tokens and you discover X. We're discovering 2? Whenever an opponent casts a spell or plays a land. Yeah, this is a defense battle. We are on defense now. Okay. I don't like interpreting this card. Whenever a non-creature permanent you control takes damage. Like, what does that even mean? Whenever a non-creature permanent... So what, I can deal 5 damage to my land that's not a creature? That makes no sense. Yeah, actually, I can disqualify it for just that. Unless you can make some sense out of that. Create that many colorless. Whenever a non-creature permanent you control takes damage. That's impossible, Majra. That's impossible. Planeswalker or battle? You know what? Just specify that. There's not that whenever you should just say whenever a planeswalker, battle, or sigil takes damage. Maybe it's true. You know what? You guys are right. You cracked the code. I still don't like wrapping my brain around that card. Okay, we got Secretary of the Holder Clan. This is a, what's it called? Boros blue for a 2/2 Fox Wizard Citizen. Very nice picture. Foxes you control have Ward 1, and instant sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. This is easily super pass. It is not even that complicated. I don't even think it's that good overall. Or a vehicle that becomes uncrewed somehow. Well, I mean, then it's not a creature. Anyway, it can't take damage if it's not crewed. Yeah, this is the cleanest card I've seen all day. Super clean card. Ooh, we got a double-sided card. Okay, I'm gonna have to show both sides here. Okay, on the first side we have a red 1 generic. Shocking Evidence. Instant. Shocking Evidence deals 2 damage to any target, and you investigate. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I think a lot of control players would love to play with this card. So it was you! That's it. Cisco to Luciano at the end of his investigation. It was you the entire time. We had lunch together, I should have known. Reveled Glimpse is the other side. A blue 1 generic instant. Surveil 2, then draw a card. Put a shield counter on target creature. That side's broken. That is it's hexproof, draw a card, and surveil. Attached to a double-sided card. I want to say they probably will print something like this in Modern Horizons 4. Yeah, it's like a modal face card. I mean, it's basically like a split card, essentially. Surveil 2 draw card makes most, like, looks like the opposite side, but you also, like, you're protecting your creature at the same time. Don Salvatore is like, gimme this card. I'll play this. I like it. I love it. Why does he use the transform templates? Why not? Why not? Where am I here? Anyway, I guess it's barely passable, but it's possible that it's too broken. Hold on, what was the flavor text? Sorry, but I did swore an oath. So even with that, ... Oh, and then what was at the end? So it was you? Shield counter gets removed when it takes damage. Yeah. Still protects the creature. Okay, next up, let's take a look at some of the smaller ones. We got Nola waiting for forever. Nola donated like a million years ago. My first custom card here, but certainly probably not your last. My first custom card here. Do you put the brackets in as well? First custom card. I don't see your card, Nola. When did you post it? What's your first custom, like, do you have the name of the post? Did Nola? Where's something by Nola here? Nola's engaging in the custom card area. So you have to give me the name of your post, not the name of the card. so that I can look it up. Because of course, you know, like look at Pedgeman's card here, Plane of Fire Resort. If I look it up on Discord, it's not going to show up or anything like that because it cannot read the picture. So you have to give me the name of the post. Whoops. Whoa, we're not done. We are way not done. We still got work to do here today. We got a lot of work to do. I thought it was the name of the... You thought that was the name of the post? It was not. I've got... Emperor has one. First... There are my first... You didn't call it first custom card. Hold on. What else did you call it? My first custom card here. That is not the name of your post. Not that I can find. No, I can't find it. Even looking up custom card, you show up for one thing. And is it this? No. Where am I? Wicked and Wild? Am I in a... Oh, I'm in somebody's thread here. Yeah, just repost the card. Repost the card. It's fine. How do I get out of here? Okay. I'm just gonna go to the next person, and then if you can repost Nola, then we'll look at it. Islarf, the Ozolith. The Ozolith completed. Ozolith. The Ozolith completed is a colorless 2 generic artifact. Whenever you cast a completed planeswalker, if life was paid to cast it, put that many loyalty counters on the Ozolith. Completed. So a completed planeswalker is a planeswalker with Phyrexian mana and its mana cost. Or you cast a completed planeswalker if life was paid. Interesting. So we put loyalty counters on the Ozolith. Then when a non-completed planeswalker enters the battlefield under your control, you may remove all loyalty counters from the Ozolith onto it. Interesting. I guess Islarf likes the completed planeswalkers for some reason or another. Okay, next up, we're going to take a look at Black Shadow, the Diablo Spirit set. I only have one card for now. Okay, we're going to take a look at this thing. Diablo Spirit set. Okay, this is a $2 black, blue, 2 generic, 5/5 Spirit Angel. What kind of weapons are these? Oh, they're hooks. Okay, we got a Demir Malthael Angel of Death gains Shroud until end of turn. Okay. That's okay, it's like, well, okay, it's not broken. I mean, Morphling had the same ability. Pay 3, tap, distribute X mark counters among any number of target creatures, where X is the number of spirits you control, and creatures with mark counters on them have, when this creature has a number of mark counters on it greater than or equal to its mana value, sacrifice it. Alright, I can get behind this card. You basically put mark counters on creatures until there's a point where, hold on. Okay, you put mark counters on creatures until they're large enough, and then the opponent has to sacrifice the creature, right? Creatures with mark counters on them have, when this creature has a number of mark counters on it greater than the equal to its mana value, poof, it's gone. Okay, next up we have another one from Islarf. We've got the Cloudburst. Before the roll tokens existed. Okay, roll red 2 generic spellbook, pay 3, charges! Influence, red. Remove a charge counter from Cloudburst. Create Cloudburst. Okay, hold on. This is a spellbook? Does this come from... What creates this damn thing? 3 charges. Enters the battlefield with 3 charge counters. I don't know how this works. This comes from some variation of Magic the Gathering that I'm not familiar with. It's got influence, red. Remove a charge counter from Cloudburst. Create Cloudburst, an enchantment aura spell token with Enchanted creature gains. When this creature deals combat damage to a creature, it deals that much damage to each other creature that player controls. Attached to target creature you control. If you control another Cloudburst spell on it, put it into the graveyard. I don't get... I think it's just a regular artifact. But it's got the land background, which confuses me. Okay, so it's a 3-mana artifact. Comes into play with 3 charge counters. Then you get to pay 3... to create Cloudburst, an enchantment or a spell. For each charge counter we remove? Pay 3 red, remove a charge counter. We get this enchantment. Enchanted creature gains when this creature deals combat damage to a creature. When this creature deals combat damage to a creature, it deals that much damage to each other creature that player controls. Attach to target creature you control. I don't like... Oh, you have to attach it to a creature you control. So you attach it to your creature, and then if you deal damage, you basically deal damage to everything. Man, this is complicated. Super complicated. Okay, Nola got the card under control. Okay, we got... There is Nola. There we go. We got Almeca Butler. This is a black, blue, white, 2 generic. 0/9 Butler. Harmless, all right? It's just there to serve you. Haste, indestructible, shroud, cannot be sacrificed. So it's basically this Butler gonna be sitting here for a while. We have tap and untap, target non-Butler artifact. Oh, sorry, we can tap it to untap target non-Butler artifact. We can also tap it to untap target non-Butler creature. What, are we making Butler Kindred here? This is the only Butler I know in the game. Tap, each player creates 3 food, treasure, or blood tokens. Okay. Tap, each player draws a card, then each player gains life equal to the amount of cards in their hand. And tap, untap, discard a card, can only be activated once per turn. You actually balance that out. I'm like, well, doesn't this go infinite instantaneously? But no, you can only be activated once per turn. This is like a group hug card. Oops, Sloan, sorry. It's like a group hug card. Easy pass. I think this is old and got power crap, Nikachu. I don't think it's old. It's not infinite because you can only be activated once per turn. That's it. Yeah, you can't buff this thing. It only works. Hey, it only works to serve everyone. It only works to serve. Okay, we got Nola's. Okay, so let's look at the Dam Draws has donated 2. Sorry, had 3, donated 2, so you get actually 1 more, the Dam Draws. Look at the Flood. Flood Part 1 rebalanced again. Flood Part 1 rebalanced. So we'll take 2 more from here and donate 3. How about that, the Dam Draws? Because you're only limited to 10 cards per turn. In fact, you're only supposed to donate 10 cards per day. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we didn't look at this one. We got the Sangeli Combat Form, a Phyrexian black 3 generic, 5/4 Flood Alien Soldier. Now it's got Assimilate black 1 generic and Absorb 1. And also for a black 3 generic, sacrifice a Flood Pod Infector. Return Sangeli Combat Form from the graveyard to the battlefield with haste and a perpetual -1/-1 counter on it. I hope this card... I'm just curious, for anyone that knows the lore, like, does this match? Does it make sense? Does it have good flavor? Because I have no idea. I'm not familiar with the lore. Okay, we got Proto Gravemind is a black Phyrexian and a black 3 generic. So they're Phyrexians, are they? It's a 2/5 food incarnation. If you control a flood army with power 5 or less, or control no flood army, destroy Proto Gravemind. It's got Defender. When Proto Gravemind enters, amass Flood 2. Non-legendary flood creatures you control get +1/+1. When Proto Gravemind dies, draw a card and create a treasure token. So you got free value. Non-legendary flood creatures you control get +1/+1. When Proto Gravemind enters the battlefield, I think this is fine. It's got Defender. It's there on defense. Nola's like, I plan on making more butlers in the future. All for the group hug players. All right, okay, so now we'll take a look at 3 donations. Okay, 3 donations, starting now. Where it stops, nobody knows. Here we go. Pedgeman. Okay, I'll give you one, Pedgeman. You got a dual-sided card here. Got Boundary of Wealth for a Orzhov White 2 generic enchantment. When Boundary of Wealth becomes active, create a... Oh, it's another one of these active boundary cards. Create a treasure token. Whenever an opponent draws a card, except for the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, create a tap treasure token. I like that. Punish the draws with mana. And then Boundary of Poverty. It is a Orzhov Black 2 generic. Whenever Boundary of Poverty becomes active, each opponent discards a card. Whenever an opponent draws a card, except for the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, they discard a card at random from their hand. All right, take a chance. You want to draw a card? You might lose your rare card. You might lose the rare. Okay, let's see. Who's the next person who has never got a card yet today? Oh, it's Darkstar Ashura. We got a white 1 generic 1/1 mouse citizen with ward 2. Just in time for Bloomburrow. Other creatures with base power and toughness 1/1 you control have vigilance and lifelink. I find that's really cute, as if the 1/1 with vigilance can even do anything. At the beginning of each end step, if you gain life this turn, create that many tapped 1/1 white mouse citizen creature tokens. Probably could play this for, like, I don't know, 2 mana. Okay, one more donation. Oops, let's not go too quickly. Not too quickly. Got a Darkstar Shura. Let's donate to Steve Cooper. Okay, Steve Cooper, we'll give you this one. 1 mana, prosthetic injector. Sounds scary. This is why people don't like needles. It's a 1 mana equipment. Equipped creature gets +0/+2 and has Toxic 1. You get to equip for 1. Easy pass. Steve Cooper still here? This one exists. Is this a real card? Did I just rate a real card? Oh, I see. Steve Cooper was just comparing cards. Okay, sorry about that. Moving on. Moving on. Do you know what? Darkstar sure got one already, but I'm very curious what this is. This is Esper for a 2/2 human advisor called Navirian Chancellor. And also, when players finish voting, each opponent who voted for a choice you voted for may draw a card. Then each opponent who voted for a choice you didn't vote for discards a card. If they can't, they mill 2 cards instead. Seems harmless, really. Yeah, those are real cards. Yeah, no wonder it's fine. Imagine I disqualified a real card. That would have been so funny. That would have been hilarious. Surefire Selves has entered the chat. Primordial Contest. Okay, we got a green, black, 2 generic sorcery. Each player secretly chooses a number 0 or greater. Okay, I choose 6. Then all players reveal those numbers simultaneously. Each player who chose the highest number loses that much life. Then each player who didn't choose that number searches their library for up to 1 creature card with mana value less than or equal to the number they chose, puts onto the battlefield with a menace counter, and then shuffles. That is quite interesting. How high do you want to go on your card mana value? You want it to be high to get a good creature, but it can't be too high that you get nothing at all. Alright, I think this is a very, very interesting card. Cool. Valor requires greed. Greed kills all. Banger flavor text as well. Dimitri goes straight to 23. I don't think you're going to be searching your library for anything, Dimitri. Unless you have other Dimitris at the table. Okay, Belle, what do you got for us? Tainted Piper. Oh, we got the Joker. This is a Golgari, black, green, 1/2 elf shaman. Now, pay a Golgari, tap. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield under target opponent's control. Here, have a phage? What? Just for fun? Oh, I see. Actual phage. Sorry, I confused phage and flage for a second. That's insane. That being said, I think it's completely fine. It's actually a pretty unique card. Because it's... Okay, like, Phage would be a combo, but it'd be so hard to pull off, and you could only kill one person at the table. I think this is interesting. It's like, yeah, it's like reverse Elvish Piper. And of course, you know, so many people build decks around donating garbage to your opponent. Well, now you can, like, just literally put it directly into play with the Tainted Piper. This literally looks like it could be a commander one day. No lies. Wizards will make this a commander. In fact, the fact that you... Yeah, it's a parody of Elvish Piper. The fact that you have conjured this thing into existence, there's a non-zero chance a Wizards of the Coast employee has watched this show and will actually make this card. I wish you showed up earlier. I could have made this like the thumbnail. It would have been a real sweet thumbnail too. All right, now it's the end of the show. Oh, thank you so much for being here. Rate these custom Magic the Gathering cards. As usual, we do this Wednesdays, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks to everyone who supports the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you use Super Chat to be part of the show. Or sometimes you Super Chat so other people are part of the show. And thanks everyone for being here with me. Give it your commentary. Correct me when I'm wrong reading these custom Magic the Gathering cards. And also submitting them. People like Surefire Cells, Benovsky, Black Shadow, Dimitri, Steve Cooper, Hollow, Pedgeman, Bell, Mandra, of course, Daniel. Did I get Surefire Cells, Steve Cooper, Bell, Benovsky? I think I got you all. We got the damn draw. We can't forget the damn draws either. Okay, thanks so much, guys. So as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing those coffees. And also keep brewing those custom Magic the Gathering cards. We'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.